Alright, what's up everybody? This is the first lesson in chapter 4. Alright, chapter 4 is all about probability. Alright, we're gonna be going over a lot about probability. Today is just kind of the intro. Alright, so we're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about what's called probability in the long run. Also, we're gonna talk about some myths that you might think about randomness, and then also what's called simulation. Alright, so it'll be a pretty quick lesson here, but those are the three things we're talking about. So, first, probability, the main topic for this entire chapter. Probability is just the chance process of a certain event happening. Alright, so if you think about like flipping a coin, the chances of it landing on heads is 50%. Alright, so when we're doing this chapter, we're not giving like percentages. Well, we might, but the proper way to use probability is a number between 0 and 1. And it represents like the proportion of how often that event will occur. Alright, so the probability of landing on heads would just be 0.5. The closer the probability is to 1, the higher chance that happens. The closer it is to 0, the lower chance it happens. Alright, so that's kind of what probability is. That's what we're doing this entire chapter, pretty much. Alright, next thing is what's called law of large numbers. Alright, that just means if we observe more and more repetitions of any chance process, the proportion of times that specific outcome occurs approaches the actual probability. Alright, what that means is, let's say I flipped a coin, I don't know, 10 times, and I got heads like 7 of them. 7 out of 10 times. So according to those 10 events, the probability that I get heads would be 0.7. Alright? But we know the actual probability of landing on heads is 50%. Alright, so a law of large numbers says is that if I were to expand the number of repetitions, if I were to instead flip a coin 10 times, instead flip a coin 10,000 times, the larger amount of like experiments that occur, closer it's going to get to the actual probability. Alright, so if I were to actually flip a coin 10,000 times, the number of heads would be pretty close to 5,000. Alright, that's all that says. The more trials you do, the more accurate results your answer will be. Alright, and then we have what's called simulation. Well, actually, let me pause there. A common myth, though, about probability is that we can kind of predict probability or predict a chance outcome. Alright, like if you flipped a coin 4 times and you got 4 straight tails, the probability that you flip it another time and getting another tails is still 50-50. Alright, it doesn't change based on previous results. Alright, that's just kind of a common myth that you might think, but it doesn't work like that. Alright, probability is still the same no matter what previous results are, if we're dealing with independent events. But we'll get into that later. The next thing we'll talk about is what's called simulation. That is just kind of, it says the imitation of chance behavior based on a model that accurately reflects the situation. We've done simulation actually in the past, dealing with experiments, but it's kind of the same thing with probability. If we take a certain experiment, we can just use simulation to kind of give us a good estimate of what should happen based on the probability. Alright, so that is actually it for the lesson. Later in class, we'll be going over some practice examples. Alright, thanks for listening. That was 4.1. See you later. Peace out.